Are you tired of being subjected to rules and regulations that do not serve you or your family? Are you willing to go against the grain in the name of wisdom, freedom, family, honor, and trust? We provide simple solutions to complex problems. Take control of your own affairs in life. Tribe Up with Tribes and Trusts TV.
On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with all these tribes and trusts. I'm overseas with these tribes and trusts. Don't need no other keys but these tribes and trusts. Frequency, sovereignty with these tribes and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribes and trusts. Overstepping your boundaries, I balance you. I'm bona fide, fuck a challenger. Sent the revocation certified, fuck a manager. In control of my soul, fuck a handler. All these assets that's held for the tribes and trusts. Prophecies get fulfilled with the tribes and trusts. Heard they get out of jail with the tribe and trust. Fuck around, get you nailed for the tribe and trust. On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with all these tribes and trusts. I'm overseas with these tribes and trusts. Don't need no other keys but these tribes and trusts. Frequency, sovereignty with these tribes and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribes and trusts. Tribing up, we 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 tribing up with these tribes and trusts. We tribing up, 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 we tribing up with these tribes and trusts. We tribing up, put the tribe in the trust, manifesting this work with the tribe and trust. Resurrecting myself with these tribes and trusts. Ancestors left us these tribes and trusts. The people is rising up, yeah. Free all the guys from cuffs. Tribes and trusts, rising up with tribes and trusts.
You heard the Mansa. Tribe up and take care of your own affairs in life. Your life depends on it. Your future depends on it. Your family depends on it. Establish your family tribes and trusts with Kyle Mansa, founder of Love Nation American Indians. If you need advanced or rush services, schedule a consultation.
I ain't gonna lie. That shit kind of keep me lit. That I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Overseas with the tribe and trust. Can't use the other keys but these tribe and trusts. Victory, sovereignty with these tribe and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribe and trusts. I ain't gonna lie, that give me a little hype right there. Been some shit going on. By the time you watch this, it is what it is. You probably seeing, you know what I'm saying, all of these videos drop in order or whatnot. But I'm telling you, I just had about 3-4 days, you know, where I myself was in the battlefields of these tribes and trusts. Because at the end of the day, war is a battle, man. That's the real, you know, the battle's on the inside, in the mind. But then you got the knowledge and turning that into wisdom type of battle too. You know what I'm saying? Where you exercise the knowledge. You feel me? For the benefit of yourself and others. And that right there is a whole different game than just knowing some knowledge and learning it, exercising it, especially these days where it's like the part of knowledge where if you're the type of person who takes the responsibility to create the solution or to find the solution in situations where the solution may not be that prevalent, then you're going to definitely face a lot of situations that may seem like L's or may seem like some long road victories. Some things are victories that you can see are victories, but are not perceived as victories. Long story short, keep your head up. Feel me? We finna get into family trust and how it really is a banking institution that protect assets and provide money for your family members, right? And on some real shit, a lot of these truths, what I'm realizing, a lot of these truths that we're experiencing, that we see, that we learn about, and you know, you have, it's like you have a small percent exercise in these truths. You know, a lot of people just want to buy them or just have the truth manifest sufficiently quickly. But the process of these days, a lot of things are new. They are new. It's a lot of new things that's happened. That's really, they only knew because they knew to us. And they may not have been new to our ancestors. Maybe not. Yet a lot of these principles are new to us as a people. And history has showed us that there's a lot of ops, whether we want them to be ops or not. Facing. Oh yeah, there's a lot of, see, I said that and the screen just turned off. But it's a lot of ops. It's a lot of situations that we facing. A lot of people that make themselves the ops because of how they perceive us and shit. So we got to move interestingly. Nowadays, we got to move interestingly. And knowing this knowledge is just half the battle. You feel me? What I realized as well is we have to execute this knowledge among those who know how to execute the knowledge. So even though this is a public domain, you know, this Tribes and Trust lecture, it's about 16 videos. And it's really aimed at me providing really in-depth foundational knowledge that's required to know why these tribes and trusts are important. That's required to see the international scope of things, everything that's playing out and how it relates to the solutions that we face and that we're going about. I mean, right now we see a lot of our people. When I say our people, I mean, I can't get out of this skin while I'm in this realm right now. And that ain't the goal either. I'm rocking with melanin. You see what I'm saying? Yet a lot of the ops and a lot of situations and colonizers, and they, you know, they and not even just colonizers, but business unions and just partnerships and guilds. You feel me? All different types of associations is in this world. You feel me? And you might have the truth and know the truth. Yet to be able to experience the blessing of the truth, you might have to develop, you know, I'm finding that it's a need to develop a community of people who understand the truth. Because a lot of these concepts, like the concept of negotiable instruments, a lot of our people are seeing, hey, these bills that they get in and these notes that they paying when it comes to the cars and the houses and even, you know, phone bills and loans and letters of credit, they seeing that their application was provided value. They're seeing that negotiable instruments could pay these things off and bills of exchange. They're seeing the international laws and the national laws that show that all of this shit, but all of these things are real. They're truthful. They're lawful. Yet it's interesting how certain agencies and or media outlets have a tendency to spin situations so much that when certain cultures are going about remedy, they're looked at different because of their culture, because of their conversation, because of the way they project themselves. So it's a game of propaganda. And based on how the people in these positions perceive you, it's like the Matrix. It ain't just all about knowledge. It's also systems that whether or not we perceive that they should or should not be, they exist. And part of this game of life is not only having this set of truth that we finna go over right now about, you know, family trusts and banking institutions. And I'm gonna pull up like an email that I had sent to myself maybe like 4 days ago or 5 days ago when I was originally gonna do this live. We're gonna go over that yet. What I'm saying is, man, it's very important to have a group of like-minded individuals that know the truth and are capable of ensuring that their interests are upheld and respected wherever they may be. And all I'm saying is you could know the truth and have the truth and based upon your ability to enforce the truth individually, people might say, fuck it. You know, we ain't gonna even get this motherfucker they rights. You know, some people end up, you know, losing their lives due to situations when third parties take it upon themselves to go above and beyond what even the law is possible, whatever the law says is possible. So, long story short, we got to have enough people that understands the truth and engage, and enough people may not be as many as we think. You know, when you have a family, you need a few people, you know, that really understand what's going on to make sure shit is happening, and then be able to educate others. Same with a company, you need a few people to literally understand the system, the whole system, and what you're dealing with and why you're dealing with it and how you're going about it, why it's lawful, so that when we go to seek solutions and remedy, we don't have to fight the same fights over and over. You got 1,000 people fighting the same fight. Well, what if they came together? They'd each have to put in less energy for that fight to be fought. And that only becomes a necessity in the world where you have groups of people that you're doing business with, and or that you're working with. We're working with companies that got thousands of employees, you know, and we're seeking to exercise our rights in the financial realm. If you're in this video, you're that type of person. So let's get into this. Let's get into this. I'm going to pull up this email. And we're going to get into private trust and why they banking institutions. And why is that important? Because, you know, when it comes down to the solutions, a lot of people seeking, they're either real estate based, you know, or money based, how to get claims, you know, how to get their negotiation popping. I could say the knowledge is here, and we're going to go over this foreign trust, and you'll see the intricacies. Why it's taking so long to pull this up here. You'll see the intricacies. Yeah, I'm realizing it's a real test. It's a real test of knowing. Like, we're talking about operating your life. If you're watching this series of videos, Tribes and Trust, we're talking about, this is for people who wish to accept the responsibility to develop the systems and maintain the systems that's required to manage their family and or their culture and or their tribe holistically, 360 degrees of operation. And that's the things that, say, our forefathers have spoke about many times, or people as we were coming up spoke up many times. Hey, we know we need to get our own health, wellness, education system, finance system, you know, our own land, you know, have our own tribes and all of this, right? So if this is the situation that we literally have to have, that is the goal, then we have to get the knowledge, the ground knowledge on what are all of these different areas of operation. What do they consist of? Right? What are they? And if we are the people that's going to be doing it, how do we organize ourselves to ensure that this stuff is actually happening? I mean, that's responsibility. That's what we're facing here. We're facing responsibility. Okay, for those who accept responsibility, that's what this is for. And now I'm realizing, I had a conversation with somebody, and they literally told me, hey, you know, I don't really want to be having to learn all of this or go through all of this, but man, you get it and you learn it, I'll be willing to break bread with you and shit. And that's what a lot of people's perspective is, and that's okay. Yet that just leads people to consistently engaging with stuff that's already happening, stuff that's already done. Not many new things, because new things take trials and tribulations. They require trials and tribulations, and then they require the stamina, minimally stamina, if nothing else. The stamina to deal with those trials and tribulations, get through those trials and tribulations while still not giving up on initial focus. You may revise some plans, but still keeping on, whether or not you personally are there or not. So that means the system we speak of, in the system of productivity, the system of learning why private trusts are important, family trusts are important, and then actually doing it. That system has to be continual, and that's part of a nation as well. What am I talking about? Part of a nation, a part of a tribe. Okay, finally pull this up. A part of a tribe is the responsibility. It's taking the responsibility to develop the tribe. And if the tribe isn't developed and no one's manning that down, but everyone's seeking solutions, I think it should be common sense that everyone should know the solutions they're seeking are solutions that's hand-fed by their slave masters. I mean, if you don't accept the responsibility to develop the solution, to utilize cosmic law, natural law, international law, your customary law, whatever laws you perceive is necessary to use, even you can use your local jurisdiction laws a lot of times, and develop institutions that have the degree of autonomy that you seek to operate with. You know, it's a certain degree of autonomy that represents freedom. And that autonomy requires people to work in unison, because it's a community and commerce. They got the same, you know, like base words, community, commerce, communication. And a lot of that is, all of that is the same to a degree. So let's pull up the screen here. Get into why every time I pull it up, it like turns off. I guess that's why. That is wild. Can't press pause on live. But yeah, let me pull up this screen here. Gotta be one of these. Man. Crazy, man. Here we go. All right. So we got the whole email up finally. So what we're finna do is go over some links, and collectively what it's gonna do is provide a more thorough understanding of what is a trust, what's a family trust, how it is a banking institution, and what all of that means to us. You feel me? What all of that means to us. I clearly need to find a way to keep this open. So one of the first pieces of information we're going to go in says trust, right? This is a definition of a trust. The trust is a form, because what we're going to find out here is what is a family trust. So check out the first video about what family is. It was a crazy type of research and investigation going on in there. What is a family? Then the second one and third one is here. What is a trust? A trust is a form of division of property rights and a fiduciary relationship. So it's how you divide property rights. Okay, and the property could be all types of property, financial instruments, any type of property, right? How you divide those rights or assign them. And how you establish the fiduciary relationship. Fiduciary relationship is a relationship in which one party has the responsibility to do things for another party, right? In which ownership of assets goes to a third party known as a trustee, and the beneficiary enjoyment goes to the beneficiary. So a trust, you got three people: a grantor, or someone who puts property into the hands or into the ownership of a trustee, right? And then that is in the hands of the trustee for the benefit of a beneficiary, right? So you'll notice a lot of trustee relationships is all types of accounts, you know, all bank accounts, trust accounts, security accounts. Those are like trustee relationships. You give somebody rights to do a certain thing for you, and you're giving property for them to manage on your behalf as well. You know, whether those deposits that you make, the deposit slips, the cash, the currency, the securities, the paperwork, right? That's all the property that they're managing. They're the fiduciary for the beneficiary, who is also you. Okay, and you have those beneficiary rights. The person who transfers the property into the trust is known as the grantor, as we was talking about. So that's basic understanding of what is a trust, right? What is a trust? This time I'm gonna, when I pull this up, I'm definitely about to make sure that we just keep this tab separate from others, so prayerfully it doesn't close on us. So that's what is a trust. And again, this is about how a family trust is really a financial institution. So we've seen a trust in and of itself is a relationship where one party manages something for another party, and they got beneficiary rights. Those are the rights that go to the beneficiary, right? You got legal title. Legal title is what the trustee has. He has the legal title, the right to own the property. Essentially, the trustee is the owner of the property until it transfers the property to the beneficiary. You feel me? Yeah, even while they own the property, it's not on their personal books, you know, as their personal assets. Okay, because the trust is a separate party. Letting you know things that's necessary in order to form a trust. Okay, so the second thing, this second link is literally a definition of financial institution that's coming from Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, right? So if we're talking about the fact that a family trust is the banking institution, we're going to get into banking, and now let's just get into financial institution, right? Because banks, as you can see here, is included in the financial institution. So financial institution is like a higher umbrella, and the bank is a type of financial institution, right? So according to the definitions here with the U.S. Treasury, so financial institution definition, it includes, y'all. Look at here. It clearly says, oh, hold on. Y'all not even on this screen. Let me see how I can switch up the screens, because I'm looking up here. Good thing I got this other situation up here, because it's like, shit, y'all have been seeing this forever. Let me go and see how I could get y'all this screen that has a definition of the financial institution up. Okay, I might just show y'all this whole window. Yeah, let's do that. All right. So financial institution here, it says financial institution includes any person. You see, any person. All right. Any person. I like that a little bit. Doing business in one or more of the following capacities. So any person doing business as a bank, any person doing business as a, okay, I'm looking up here. It's like it's not even showing what the heck is going on. But any person doing business as a bank, any person doing business as a broker. All types of shenanigans is going on around this mug, man. All types of shenanigans. I thought I was just showing y'all the screen I have here, and it was not showing. Like, come on. It is not showing. That's crazy. But anyway, a financial institution is a bank, a broker, a dealer in securities, money service business. You'll see money service business. These are all different types of financial institutions. And once I seen all these different types of financial institutions, I knew literally that it's like, okay, I can get into one of these categories for sure. I know for a fact I can get into one of these categories because the whole name of the game was to get into this money, right? As far as cash goes, not just for the sake of money, but we got things we wish to do, we got dreams we wish to live, and there's situations in this world that we know we can adjust for the positive benefit of the world. So to do that, we got to play with this money in the way it needs to be played with, right? So a financial institution includes all of these things. Telegraph company, casino, there we go. Got to go through this shit a whole different route. But that's kind of like life. Sometimes you see some people and they have to go through more. That's just what it is. You feel me? Even though I have, you might have the knowledge and the capabilities, the wisdom, but you got to still go through the process. And the process of getting into financial institutions and operating as a trust, we're going to get into here. You feel me? Casinos, car clubs, a person subject to supervision by any state or federal bank supervising authority. So any of these people, money service business is a good one, easy way of entry. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all can take that as a hint and do some Googling. But that's an easy entry into the world of money service business, into the world of financial institutions. And these financial institutions, any person, and it's clear to see a person is an individual, corporation, partnership. You see what I'm saying? Could be a trust. You see here right now, boom, trust, or a state, even a joint stock company, an association, a syndicate, joint venture, or other unincorporated organization or group. You see what I'm saying? Shit, a person could be an Indian tribe, as the term is described in the Indian Gaming Regulation Act. Shoot, we got to see what the Indian Gaming Regulation Act is looking as tribes like. We want to see that a little later. And all entities cognizable as legal personality. So any organization that has its own distinctive legal personality is considered a person. So when you look at it like this is something that I also tried to show people, tell people, when you talk about a tribe, when you think about the things that you're seeking to accomplish with your tribe, or with your family, or with your community, or with your community, or with your group, you'll notice that it's a lot of different types of persons you can do this as, or a lot of different types of organizations, right? Or a lot of different ways to do this business, point blank, period. It's just a lot of ways to go about it. So it's not one way to skin a cat, but we ain't skinning cats. We about getting to this situation and adjusting our situations in life, right? So we just seen that a financial institution could be any person that's engaged in the business of these things, right? So it didn't say a person with a license from a state to do this. Nah. It just says any person doing business in any of these things. And then some categories are under supervision, right? But you can also be supervising yourself according to your own rules and regulations. And that's what this is all about. This is for people who wish to take that route. And even if you don't, you just want to have a greater knowledge about what you're doing, this is for that as well. All right. So we're getting into just pieces of information to better understand what these terms are. Financial institution, we see, and this is essentially banking institution. It's a synonymous term, it's a synonym. And you can see all these types of things can engage, right? And you've seen a trust is included, right? And you saw what a trust is, any relationship. It's transferring some rights. It's managing some rights, that one person's managing rights for the benefit of another. Okay, so now let's go a little further into the situation. Wow. Okay, so let's go into this email here. See which one we're going to see if they go with the flow. So we're going to go into some definitions here about banking beneficiary, just real quick, just because understanding the definitions gets you far. We're gonna have to find a more better way of navigating through these StreamYard streets, because this really wasn't the most efficient way. All right, let's see if it switches up for me here. You know, y'all can't even see that, huh? Nevertheless, let's just back out of here. Oh, yeah, yeah. This is wild style, fellas. I guess this is the effect of taking 3, 4, 5 days off when you just starting a YouTube channel and you attempting to get, you know, a nice series of videos out. Coming back, and the whole system is playing games with me here. This ain't efficient. I'm gonna pause this if possible. All right, the second time around here. I'm gonna see if I just share the whole window, man. Would it just stop playing games with? Will it just stop playing games? All right, we're gonna see how this goes. All right, so now we're gonna get into some general definitions. Just so, because definitions, what I realize is that having a keen understanding of the definitions is like 75 to 80% of it when it comes to comprehension and wisdom, right? Just having that wisdom, you know, getting that knowledge right. It's all about the definitions, because a lot of these words that we think we know, we might have an understanding of them or a common sense reality of them, but when it comes to application, knowing the law is one thing, but then the way the law is enforced is crazy out here. It's like the people who act operating in power, they make personal decisions as to who they're going to allow to benefit from the law sometimes. So we got to be very strategic at how we go about getting solutions. So, all right, we're into the general definitions, right? When it comes to a lot of the United States codes, we're at the Cornell United States codes, right? And financial institution here is broken down, as we can see, in a little more depth, right? It's speaking of each agent, agency, branch, or office within the United States of any person doing business, whether or not on a regular basis, as they saying. It don't matter how much you do this, but if you're doing it to any degree as in an organized way, in any of these capacities, then you're a financial institution, right? And we went over these things, some of them: bank, broker, or dealer, a telegraph company. Here they're breaking it down to casinos, right? Domestics, casinos, car clubs, you know what I'm saying? Any person subject to any federal or state bank supervising authority, a futures commission merchant, introduction, broker, or commodities, a mutual fund, foreign bank. Okay, a foreign bank, which is key. Like if you were to have your own jurisdiction, for those who do have their own jurisdiction, like a lot of people, if there's a such thing as jurisdiction, somebody got a jurisdiction. Okay, so other people could get them. If there's a group of people who have a jurisdiction, then there's other groups who could obtain a jurisdiction. All right. So to establish a foreign jurisdiction is saying you can have a foreign bank in a foreign jurisdiction. Of course, your own laws. I mean, if you have your own jurisdiction, who do you have to pay for a license? Well, you have the responsibility of developing the plans and the processes to obtain a license, and who's going to get them and how you're going to issue them, and if they're necessary for certain things. You know, it's a different world. And for those of us who have the capacity to nation build or to build tribes or to be in communities, and for those people who are communal, yet their cultures have been, they're fighting for their right to exist and coexist in this world still, or not even fighting. Some of them are just accepted 100% assimilation, and that's crazy. But for those who know that they want to establish communities to live better, if not for them, their family, the kids that's coming up, and we still got to do something about this. You may be considering establishing a jurisdiction, right, and accepting the responsibility to operate efficiently. Then you can have your foreign banks, because I mean, in that point, you're the person who has to make sure that you got the systems, the international systems in place for having these systems, having the banking systems, the finance systems, the medical systems, the engineering systems, and to create licensing when licensing is needed, and regulation, how regulation is needed. You know, you accept that responsibility. If not, then we are all in these situations that we claim that we don't want to be in, right? We claim that we want to be more free or have access to more things. A lot of people, you know, maybe some people don't, you know, but for those of us who do, these are conversations to have. So it's in a foreign bank is a bank organized under foreign law. So if you organize under a foreign law, then you're a foreign bank, okay? Or an agency, branch, or office located outside the United States of a bank, excuse me. So an agency of a bank or anything like that that's operated outside the United States, or any bank, no matter where it's operating, if it's operating in the United States or out of the United States, they saying if you're operating under a foreign law, you're a foreign bank. So even if you're in the United States, but you operate under a foreign law, you're a foreign bank. Foreign financial agencies, you know, has a definition of funds transfers, which is very important because at the end of the beginning of the day, we out here to get funds transferred, to get funds and make funds transferred. And I'm here to tell you that the systems that allow for this are prevalent, they're open, they're accessible. Some you can create your own. You understand what I'm saying? But you have to understand the systems and the laws. And really the best hope that I see that we have is a hope that we can all agree on utilizing systems that we can access to control. You feel me? Doing a lot of yawning because, man, I be up and working a lot. Gotta take a couple months where I could just wind down. I feel like a lot of this is just really come into play a lot better, a lot smoother. If I just take a couple months to just kind of like relax. I've been going real hard at a lot of things. But as we can see, funds transfers is very important, and it is very important when it comes to extinguishments of debts and paying things and gaining relief. At the end and the beginning of the day, this is all accounting. It's accounting for value. It's literally accounting for value. It's literally accounting systems. And then it's about the interoperability of those accounting systems. Like, is your accounting system and your bookkeeping, are they going to respect your bookkeeping? Are they going to respect your value? That's really what the fight is. I mean, if there's a fight, it's about arranging ourselves in a way where we respect each other value, and we're setting up the type of systems in a way where other people respecting our value as well. I mean, because every man for himself it ain't gonna work out here in the community system, in a system where on the world level, in the cosmic world, you know, I can perceive that a man must be strong, a man, woman, and child at the end of the day, strength according to his or her and its design and its mission. Yet it's when you connect that you can have commerce. It's the exchange of products and services that allow things to be built, systems to be built, communities to be built, even your dreams to be built. It's you exchanging products and services or cash for services for people to do things to assist you or to do things for you, to develop things that you see fit. If not, then you're doing it all. You convincing some people to work with you in some way. It's commerce. It's funds transfer. It's value transfer. And people want to be compensated so that the work and the energy that they put out, they could get something of equal value and or of greater value back so they can, you know, exchange that value. So a funds transfer is a series of transactions beginning with the originator's payment order. So the originator makes a payment order made for the purpose of making payments to the beneficiary of the order. So a payment order sound like a money order to me, right? Money order, or sound like also a bill of exchange, because a bill of exchange is an order to pay. Promissory note is a promise to pay. You know, a bill of exchange is an order to pay. So it might possibly be an order to pay, right? Made for the purpose of making payments to the beneficiary, right, of the order. The term beneficiary, well, the term includes any payment orders issued by the originator's bank or intermediary bank intended to carry out the originator's payment order. So the originator's bank, let's see what the definition. It's the receiving bank to which the payment order of the originator is issued. Okay. If the originator is not a bank or foreign bank, or the originator if is the originator is a bank or foreign bank. What is issued if the originator is not a bank or foreign bank, or the originator if the originator is a bank or foreign bank. Okay. So you originated, you send it to a bank, it says the receiving bank, that is the originator's bank. It's pretty interesting. Issued by the originator's bank or an intermediary bank. Let's see what an intermediary bank is. It's a receiving bank other than the originator's bank or the beneficiary's bank. So sometimes I guess this could be like a third party banking institution that's providing a service. And a lot of times when they're using the word bank, they're just speaking of anyone that's engaged in the business of banking, which could be any financial institution that got the right to conduct that specific service. And there's many different services that banks do collectively, right? So when you see the word, don't be dismayed as to perceive that it has to be a commercial bank. It could be a private bank, foreign bank, a family bank, you know, a bank that's operated from a sole proprietor standpoint, right? Just many banks. All right. This is us just breaking down the terminology of family trust and banking institutions, right? So I'm showing all these words. Now we're going to get into bank itself, showing these words just so, again, definitions is really like most of the game, 75 to 90% of the game. You feel me? Like, and understanding what the game is, then seeing, you know, how you can organize yourself and others and utilize the elements of the universe and be one with it to experience things how you see fit, right? So bank, it looks like financial institution as well, definition, because it says each agent, agency, branch, or office within the United States of any person doing business in one of more of the following capacities. So it's already sounding like the same definition as a financial institution, right? It's already sounding like the same definition. This is a key I want everybody to see, how a family trust is a banking institution, and it has the rights and all capabilities to protect assets, you know, because initially it was speaking of assets, right, being granted to a trustee to manage on a benefit for the benefit of a beneficiary, right? Okay, so it has the ability to protect those assets as well, because the grantor who put the property into the trust no longer is the owner. So no longer has the liability of ownership, but still can experience the benefit of ownership by being the beneficiary as well. So the grantor could be beneficiaries, right? And that's a real strategy. One of the original reasons why the structure was created, right? For a lot of the landlord families to get from under the duties imposed by the crown. Literally, they created trusts and operated like that and say the property's in trust. I'm no longer the owner, so whatever debt I had to you about it, it ain't even me. All right, it ain't even my debt no more. All right, so it could be a private bank, a commercial bank, or a trust company organized under the law of any state or of the United States. So the laws of any state or of the United States, trust company. A private bank right here is considered a bank. When you talk about private, it's not public. It could be under different rules. It could be self-regulatory, having its own ways in which it conducts business, reasons and laws, joining different international associations to validate itself and to develop its community of other banking associations that it operates with. It includes savings and loan associations, insured institutions, savings bank, right? It says any other organization except money service businesses. So any other organization chartered under the banking laws of any state and subject to the supervision of the bank supervisory authorities of the state. So it's not included in money service businesses, y'all can see, in the bank, but money service businesses were included in financial institutions. That's the first thing that I see is different there, because, you know, trust companies included in financial institutions, private bank necessarily, yeah, it is included, but it, you know, literally, I think the difference is financial institutions also included foreign agencies, and this money service business is one of the least, one of the types of business that has the least, if not any, really, but very small to none barrier to entry. Okay. It's also saying that a bank is a bank organized under foreign law, which it said in number 1, essentially. Oh, no, I'm thinking now about definition for financial institution, or that, yeah, definition for foreign banking too. Okay, a bank organized under foreign law, any national banking association or corporation acting under the provisions of Section 258 of the Act of December 23rd, 1913, as added by the Act of December 24th, 1919, Chapter 1841, Statute 378, as mentioned somewhere else. So all of this is just stating how there's all these different types of banks, all these different methods, strategies, ways of establishing institutions that have the capacity to operate as a bank. It can conduct similar, if not all the same and or more functions than your regular bank that you deal with. All right. So that's bank. You see, this is a lot of linky jinkies. Monetary instruments is very important, because when you're talking about payments and extinguishing debts, you know, we can get into that in depth. Monetary instruments is very important, y'all. What I'm realizing is we're dealing in the world, because I perceive I'm a master of monetary instruments. I ain't gonna lie. monetary instrument genius. No joke. No joke. Like, no lie. Yeah. Now it's like, I'm at the point, I got a perspective that's just like, we got to find the country that want to do business with us, that don't make us go through so many hoops just to operate lawfully in this financial arenas, to clear and settle our instruments lawfully for investments, to clear and settle our instruments lawfully for the credits as necessary to discharge debts and extinguish debts in the manner that the people see fit. If the people want to deposit a credit, a check deposit, or a credit card, whatever the people need or want from you as payment, we want to be able to provide, because we do have the credits. We are entitled to enjoy the benefits that these values have in store for us. They are stored up, this value. So we wish to experience that. And monetary instruments is the way. It's one of the biggest ways. It's literally the documents that we deal with on a daily, right? Currency is a currency. Monetary instruments include currency, traveler's checks in any form, all negotiable instruments. All negotiable instruments, y'all. So you study up about negotiable instruments, and it says all negotiable instruments right here in the United States Code. All negotiable instruments are monetary instruments. Now, for the people who got through the sloppy beginning, you can see like why it's like it don't even matter. It's because it's for the knowledge. If the people really want to get this knowledge, they're gonna get it. You know, people want to accept this responsibility, they could tune in to Tribes and Trust and get these videos. If I meet you and I ever gave you this link, it's because I saw something in you and I perceive that you're capable of manifesting, right? But you too, even you're gonna have to utilize the knowledge wisely, and then in accordance to the societies that we out here dealing with, because you got knowledge, you got laws. Okay, it says all negotiable instruments is a monetary instrument, but why is it that when you wake up and you go and you want to buy some food, you can't just drop you a promissory note and give it to somebody? Well, you might can in a world where they understood that this is financial value, in a world where they accounted for it, they were able to exchange with the people that they know around them, able to account for this value correctly and exchange the value how they see fit. If people were able to take value and, deposit it, you feel me? Negotiable instruments, then that's a form of cash. That's your bills, your checks, you feel me? Cashier's checks, money orders, receipts, any pieces of paper that got a dollar sign on it. That's how I look at negotiable instruments. Any piece of paper that got a dollar sign on it, man. Contracts, all of this stuff, right? Court case paperwork, a lot of that, warrants and all of that got dollar signs on them. And they negotiable instruments, a lot of these things. And money orders as well. It says they're either in bearer form, which is not drawn to a specific person, like it's not issued to a specific person. It doesn't say, hey, payable to this certain person. It's just a promise to pay a certain amount of money or order to pay a certain amount of money, not to any specific person, right? They said they can either be in bearer form, endorsed without restriction, made out to a fictitious payee, or otherwise in such form that title passes upon delivery. Okay. Wow. So they can even be, as it says here, made out to a fictitious person. There's a specific purpose, for the purpose of 1010.340. Man, I wonder what 1010.340 talking about, man. 1010.340 probably a little further out. Of course it is, because this is 1010.110, you feel me? Maybe you want to see what 1010.340 is about, though. Okay, or otherwise in such form that title passes upon delivery. Okay. Securities are stock in bearer form, or otherwise it's not from. Okay, or otherwise in such form that that title therefore passes upon delivery. All of these are monetary instruments. Securities are stocks in bearer form or any other form where title passes when somebody delivers. So title passes upon delivery. Upon delivery. That's real, man. So you got some negotiable instruments and you transferring it for payment or for extinguishment of a debt or for the value to be transferred. Man, upon delivery, that's when value transfer. That's it. That's a monetary instrument. And these people be acting like they ain't get the money, man. So it's time to what? What you got to do after that? Enforce your rights. I ain't gonna lie. I realize now probably the best investments is law cases. That's what it seemed like. It seemed like the best investments to make are law cases. That's what it's looking like in this world. I ain't gonna even get too deep into that. But it's looking like it. Because the law is beautiful. Look at this. The law is beautiful. Monetary instruments do not include warehouse receipts or bills of lading, but they include all these other things: negotiable instruments, any security or stock, in any form where title passes upon delivery. Man, that's good as money. That's good as currency. You see, currency is a definition. So, currency talking about the U.S. dollars that you got is all these other types of dollars that's utilized to transfer value. These monetary instruments. And when I saw that, my eyes woke up, man. They had this knowledge can't just be for some and not applicable to others. That's a very that creates very lopsided and horrible types of worlds that we living in, where people don't have access to certain value. You know what I'm saying? This knowledge is showing that this value is here. This knowledge is showing that this stuff is money, is as good as money. And if we got that knowledge, we should be able to use this as money. And if it's not able to be used as money, that sounds like a situation where you can sue a motherfucker, because all the laws are showing that all of this is money, monetary instruments. And you got a lot of agencies and organizations and individuals acting like this shit don't be money, or acting like they could, because of their lack of knowledge, prevent your expressions of freedom. Don't have to respect your wealth, your infinite wealth. We got infinite wealth. We have infinite contract authority. The authority to enter into contracts, the authority to enter into debts, to create credits, extend credits, to receive debts, to receive credits, extend debts, whatever is necessary for the situation of balancing the books. Monetary instruments. That's a big one. That's a big one. That'll have you seeing that this shit is real, man. And they talked about private banking, so we're gonna get into private banking just a little bit here. You've seen them talking about private banking, right? So you can see there's all types of private banks. We're gonna show the types of banks here. So they're saying all these different types of banks. Advising banks, bulge bracket, central bank, commercial bank, community development bank, cooperative bank, credit union, custodian, depository, development bank, direct bank, exchange, credit agency bank, investment bank, industrial bank, merchant bank, middle market bank, mutual savings bank, neobank, offshore bank, participation bank, payments bank, postal savings bank, private bank, public bank, retail bank, savings and loan bank, universal bank, wholesale bank, bank holding company, whole bunch of banks. So we got all these different types of banks and private banks. It sounds like you could put the word bank after any noun. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, and start a bank for that noun. You know, the lighter bank, food bank, the clothes bank, water bank, food bank, house bank. accessories bank, just banks for everything. And as you can see, all types of banks. They say private banking is a general description for banking, investment, and other financial services provided by banks and financial institutions, primarily serving high net worth individuals. So primarily they serve high net worth individuals, which are individuals who make over $1 million or they're holding financial assets valued at $1 million or more. And that's a high net worth individual. You got a financial instrument that's showing that you're worth $1 million or more. Wow. You're a high net worth individual. And when you set up these trusts for yourself and your families, the goal is for everybody to be a high net worth individual who's qualified, competent. Okay, it says it refers to someone with high net worth of at least 5 million USD. The terminal level, an ultra high net worth individual owes $30 million in investable assets. Means they're adjusted for inflation. Individuals with a net worth of over 1 billion US dollars are considered to occupy a special bracket of the UHNWI, which is the ultra high net worth individual bracket. So they got a special bracket in the bracket because they bracket, they crack it, you got to pop it. These thresholds are broadly used in studies of wealth acquisition, government regulation, investment suitability, requirements, marketing, financial standards, and general corporate strategy. Definitions of the high net worth individual a little more refers to people who maintain assets at or above a certain threshold. Typically, they have declined as holding. Typically they are defined as holding financial assets, excluding their primary residence. So all the assets except for their primary residence is something that they can register, something that they're essentially holding, and assess and including this value. They're having over $1 million. Okay. Very high net worth individuals, at least 5 million. Then you got ultra high net worth individuals, got at least 30 million in investable assets, adjusted for inflation. So assets that could be invested as the value is and the value must be adjusted for inflation according to the date that it's at. Now, financial institution. And we're reading this as this gives more information on what high net worth individual is. These tribes and trusts as assets hit a high net worth individual. If you assess your value, realize your value now, you might be. You know? Okay, we went over bank. We're not going to go through that no more. Well, not in this video. Now I'm going to talk about systems of banking. These are systems that are properly established trusts. You know, with the right fees getting paid here or there. You can access some of these systems. You know, all systems of finance are accessible to someone. You got to look and see who's using these systems. What's the benefit of these systems? How you can be a member in these systems. And you'll see in America, or the United States of America specifically, you got NACHA, NACHA. It's an organization and or entity that pretty much oversees the code and the standard for transactions within the ACH network. The ACH network is the digital domestic. It can send money internationally too, but it's mostly domestic. United States of America payment rail for digital payments, right? Systems such as the Federal Reserve utilize it. You got two of these types of organizations in America, right? Yeah, it gets into NACHA here. It says it's open for processing payments pretty much almost every hour of the day, every business day. It settles payments 4 times a day. It says they're settled when the Federal Reserve settlement service is open. Currently, the Federal Reserve settlement system is closed, they say. But yeah, the ACH network is something to check out, right? NACHA. We talk about the Federal Reserve a little bit, yet every country has a reserve currency. They issue a currency. They have a finance system. In Europe, you got the Euro system. America, you got the Federal Reserve System, right? You got SWIFT. It's a network. Like in America, you got the ACH network. Networks for transferring property, the value of financial assets, accounting for the value transfers, and digital systems that people come to call banks and bank accounts, right? There's digital systems for accounting for value. That's literally what they are. If we understand that, learn the accounting part, then the systems part, bring them together, and that's a financial infrastructure. But you know, these agencies such as the Federal Reserve System provide financial services by leveraging their financial system. They provide financial services to themselves and others, you know. Yeah, I got a little link. Okay, my man sent me a link. Some man just sent me a concept. That was cool. That was cool. All right. Well, yeah, we into this financial institution stuff, man. Banking. We went over trust. Understand the Federal Reserve is a system. Every country has a system. SWIFT network is another network, right? We were speaking of. It's an international network. And it's very interesting with these networks. You could develop your own network. Most of these networks now, because you have networks and then you got standards that these networks are following, like rules and regulations. If you understand the standards, you can put the tools together. You can develop your own network. And really, that's what the world is in need of. The world is in need of a network that connects all people who are outside of financial networks, but still lets them have interoperability in the major networks. So that all forms of commerce can happen. That's literally the reason for money transfer, is for commerce to occur. And when money isn't efficiently transferred from one group to another, and we've seen all these different monetary instruments. So if you can't send your monetary instruments to others who respect the value of yours, then you're literally put out of the commercial system of those others, whoever they are, whatever system they got control of. So that's why two things is important. That's why knowing the knowledge and using it for your benefit in these certain systems is important. But then the second thing that's important also is actually being able to develop a group of people that respect your value, because y'all can respect each other's value right now. Y'all can start using y'all own money right now in y'all own system. And that's the biggest key. Like, I'm so ready for that part. People had the courage to do those types of things. We're immediately off the chain wealthy. We got our own bookkeeping systems, our own accounting systems. We're utilizing our own instruments in our own systems lawfully. We're not really asking to be a part of other people's monetary systems. For that system to work properly, we need enough people that's covering every area of business. You know, people with food, water, people with housing, people with land, you know, people that have different services and products, enough to cover all of the key things that you need for a society, and need them to join. And their benefit is, hey, your value we respect. You can issue your own promissory notes, bills of exchange lawfully, and we accept them as payment here. Everybody here accepts everybody's monetary instruments. And that, if the world did that, what you got is global trade immediately. Wow. You have international trade immediately, for real, for real. Right now, you don't have international trade going on to the degree to where it could. You don't even have local trade going on to the degree to which it should or could, because the monetary instruments people relying upon aren't, let's just say, distributed according to supply and demand. They're not distributed according to meeting needs, and people are not best. They're not in the best way possible utilizing their ability to issue their own and transfer their own negotiable instruments. And that is an interesting thing, because the law allows for people to do that. It also allows for those same instruments to be accounted for in whatever jurisdiction that people are in. So it's not like you have to go against the rules to do such a thing. You simply have to know the rules to operate such a system and to operate in such a system. And it's like a lot of people are brainwashed to the point where they perceive anything different than the system that is actually clearly needing to adjust and or being overthrown in many ways, from the sun to the international financial system, developing the old systems. They're being developed, redeveloped. The ones that's going to last in the future are the ones that's popping, and they have an understanding of these types of principles, the principles that's allowing other people to enter the financial system, to enter commerce, the principles that's respecting the value of people that were not once respected. Because there's only two options, you know, hold these people accountable through any and every means that's necessary, for not respecting our value, for those of us who are, you know, in the game of ensuring that we are properly utilizing the wisdom of the financial world at its highest level. You feel me? Because I truly perceive a lot of us have the knowledge and the capacity to operate at the highest level of life, like literally. Right. So we done went over the definitions of banks, money instruments, intermediary banks, you know, high net worth individuals, banks, ACH network, Federal Reserve. We see the SWIFT. We didn't really go over this, but this is an international network. This is the network for international payments that most all countries was relying upon, and a lot of the countries are breaking away from now. That's doing the BRICS thing. They're like, hey, we need our own SWIFT, because the SWIFT is for international payments. Now they're using ISO 20022, but that's not 100% just for the SWIFT. This is a standard. So they're utilizing this standard, and you can use this standard. Anybody can use this standard. It's a free and open source standard, And it's really rules for sending payment and making transactions and how you communicate that. And it's code-based rules. I won't get into that right now, but that's not SWIFT, that's ISO, International Standards Organization, right? And they play a part, but you see, you did a little bit of research on ISO. You know, you'll see that what I believe here is it's the universal financial industry messaging scheme. So it's a financial industry messaging scheme, y'all. This is deep, and this is key because I mean, while I'm showing y'all this, at the same time, the difference between me and a lot of people, it ain't even about showing the difference. It's just about the fact that while I'm showing y'all this, I can show y'all the whole system that I'm talking. While I'm talking, like a system needs to be developed, I can show y'all a system that is developed. You feel me? That is developed, right? I'm saying, okay, we need to do this, we need to do that. I'm just bringing this knowledge up now and showing you the pieces to the puzzle that have been utilized to develop a system. All the answers are here and are here in the organized package, and you guys can develop your own systems and we can develop them for you, whatever. But at the end of the day, we have systems that utilize these codes lawfully, right? These are messaging systems to send payments, to send messages for all types of payments, to register assets, categorize assets. It's a lot going on. Y'all can come in here, ISO20022.org to learn more about ISO, the standards, the processes. They may even have the codes, the repository here. You feel what I'm saying? The data repository that's showing you all the different concepts and the data types and the systems in ISO 20022. You got a whole catalog for it. You want to get real deep. Can we see the catalog then? Okay, here we go. They got 747 different messages that's possible of being sent in this ISO 20022 standard. So this is like, man, this is, the answers are all in front of our faces. It's the thing is, we're still relying upon a lot of these systems. It's time to switch and now develop our own system. We have the capability. They are developed actually as well. Now we have to make people want to do it on the make them want to do their own thing. You feel me? Because it's almost like the system to be, even though we lawfully could and should be able to access it and utilize the system as it is for these things, literally. The people who are seeming to be in power right now, they blocking motherfuckers, and it's time to do all things, man. We gotta seek some legal resolutions as we can, and at the same time, take every solution, self-sustainable solution, because those are the systems that's going to survive. The self-sustainable solutions, utilize the self-sustainable solutions for our long-term benefit. A lot of the claims in the for the injustices that we've experienced, we can utilize a lot of those resources for our own self-sustainable families, self-sustainable tribes, self-sustainable organizations, however you want to word it, but self-sustainable, right? So you got BRICS, and when you look into BRICS, it's pretty interesting. I mean, we can look into BRICS. I have a lot on BRICS and then something else, because what's key is just to see that, you know what, a family trust is a bank institution that protects assets and provides money for your family members, right? So this part of the conversation is like the end of it, man. Like, I've been going kind of slow, and reading things, because these are very, very, very powerful points that aren't really understood until one accepts the responsibility to do for self. A lot of people don't really experience the blessings, and they're, especially if you're going at this and you're using this information for any effect that is not a self-sustainable system, then you're not really going to understand or overstand or really experience this for what it could be. Like if you're just, because a lot of times we want a better situation in life. So we like, hey, I'm trying to get this bills paid, or trying to get this money for this, or trying to get my credit right, or trying to, whatever goal people got. For the most part, they goals be, and even me, a lot of times, I got goals. I got short-term goals, long-term goals. It's just that a lot of the goals that we spend time on, they don't consider our now and our future and our children's future and our children's children's future. Because the more we put ourselves in that mindset, like, okay, the thing I'm working on, it got to accomplish that. It has to be that effective. When you're thinking like that, you already knowing that what you're going at is different. You already knowing it's going to take more. It may take more of everything. More time, more energy, more effort, more understanding, more knowledge, more patience. And that's something that I'm faced at every step, every level. And I'm showing this part because this is an example. These are examples. We went over trust. Was it trust? Was bank, private bank? Was financial institutions. You read the rules and the laws to see that financial institutions are like banking institutions. The only difference was money service business is included in financial institutions, but it's not included in banking institution. We saw private banking institution and foreign banking institutions. And we'll say that foreign banking institution, that's because you have your own society, your own or organization that's self-regulatory, that's operated under foreign laws. We read that. So if you're operating under foreign laws, you're a foreign bank. And you could be in based upon whichever category you choose to operate, you have different rules and regulations you have to adhere to. So you could be adhering to other people's rules and regulations or yours. And at the end and the beginning of the day, it doesn't even, the aspect that matters is the aspect that you can enforce. So if you wanted to use these laws, as we're seeing, even the laws of the United States, it looks good. It looks good. It looks good everywhere. All the countries' laws, when I'm reading them, it's like, wow, this is amazing. We can do this. We can do that. Then when you go to implement this shit, it's not that things don't work. It's that you got to come correct. You got to come with correct force according to your goal. Because if our goal is just get a couple dollars, all this shit is not possible. All this knowledge is impossible. We can literally just do one or two of these things. You don't have to know how to develop a whole infrastructure for yourself and for your family. If your goal is just to get 50,000, 10,000, 20,000, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million, even like more than that sometimes. You don't have to 10 million. You don't have to think like this. But if your goal is to make sure that you can have access to wealth, those who you do this for can have access to wealth. If you want to make sure you got access to wealth, then you making sure you control that system, or you have some influence in the system, and the system has respect, and the value in the system has respect. And what is respect when it comes to money? Respect is the ability to clear and settle. So if your negotiable instruments, we also went over monetary instruments. We saw that it's all these different things are monetary instruments, right? Like travel checks, all negotiable instruments. It says all negotiable instruments was monetary instruments. Okay, they do not include warehouse receipts. But right here, all negotiable instruments are monetary instruments. So we see the laws on our sides. We see a lot of these professional organizations, institutions be trying to act like we don't know what's up because they got a different culture. They want to act like their culture is right instead of the law. They want to deal with it like that. Well, that ain't how this shit really go. And if it ain't how it go, but it's going like that, that means the real game ain't just getting 5,000, 10,000. The real game is making sure that this motherfucking system is working better, way more smooth, way more operatable. The whole system. And yeah, that's a whole different ball game, but we can get into this. We can get into why, and this is why BRICS is here. Why I can even see that BRICS exists. What is BRICS again? So this is someone who says in groups, a group of people, and let's really dissect this in a different way, because I don't really see people dissecting BRICS and understanding the importance of BRICS. And even from the perspective that competition also helps systems, like the system that's not necessarily BRICS, it has some, it's increasing due to the fact that now it has competition. So there may be things that happen in non-BRICS jurisdictions that's going to be getting better because BRICS exists, because those non-BRICS jurisdictions may be wanting to do things to keep people in their systems or keep people rocking with their financial networks, their financial infrastructures, right? But let's talk about BRICS. Before I talk about BRICS, I saw an article that was amazing about financial market infrastructures. And it was written by an organization in Brazil. Yeah. This might not be it. Here it goes. This is a document I recommend people who really want to understand what is this man talking about. Why are we doing tribes and trusts? Why are we spending so much time going so slow kind of over these concepts? Because there's not many concepts that you really have to understand or understand. The thing is that these companies got you running through some bullshit, and I even help people go through a lot of bullshit because that's what they want to do. They want to do that because it takes less courage. Really, bro, it takes less courage to go down the bullshit routes that most people go. It takes more. You have a sense of more stability. You like, hey, you have a sense that it's gonna work for you. If you like, okay, this is working for them, it's working for them, it's gonna work for us. But the true solution, it ain't really work for nobody other than the people who came together for it to work for them. You have basically, if you have a jurisdiction, any jurisdiction up with their own financial market infrastructure, their own infrastructure, the companies we talking about is working for them. That's what I'm trying to say. These are the people who've done it. SWIFT, they've done it. Every security depository institution, they've done it. What's it? They've set up a system where they can actually respect, they can get some respect for their value. They could exchange, settle, and clear their monetary instruments. We saw all of these things as good as gold. All of the negotiable instruments that you got right now, you're probably sitting on $200 million worth of paperwork right now in your drawer, in your emails. That's really worth money. And we're in a system where it's a group. It's clear. I'm not the more I attempt to act like this is that, like, the more I try to act like we all can just benefit from this because the knowledge is here, the more I try to act like the knowledge is here. This is here. You see the knowledge, and we could all do it. The more I see there are some people in some places that can say yes or no. That's how I'm going to put it. There's people in places that say yes or no, this is going to happen for this person or not. And as long as those institutions and those people in those places don't got no competition, as long as we as groups of people only going to these same agencies for answers, they'll never have to change. They'll never have to change. And we may never get the solution. Just going and accepting the solution at the rate in which it is allowed by others, meaning We keep using their banking systems. We keep going to them for approval for I want to clear money through you, bank with you. And all of this, I'm relying on your dollars, your notes. I'm relying on your shit for my wealth and for my family wealth. And if they say, no, we're not going to take your note. No, we don't take your exchange note. No, we don't take your bill of exchange. Even though the law said they should, even though we read the law say they monetary instruments, all this is good as gold, all this good as money. No, you need to come with some more documents, or you need to change your credit score. They got you running through all these goddamn games. Yeah, I'm going to say goddamn games, or the damn God games, or whatever, because at the end and the beginning of the day, the Most High, the word God is probably on some devilish shit. Like, it's when I don't want to get that deep, but because then people start thinking that it don't even matter, but it does matter. I would just say that there's system and there's people that we have to compete against. The more you want to go on your own, the more you see this is a game of numbers. This is a game of numbers. So we need enough people to understand that these are principles, for instance, for financial market infrastructure. We're talking about credit, collateral, liquidity, settlement, money settlements, deliveries. This is transfer of money. We reading this even in the United States Code, upon delivery, any asset that changes title upon delivery is a monetary instrument. Y'all, we read that. You feel me? So these all are principles. Central Securities Depository. Every sovereign entity has one. A central security depository. That's the place where the securities. What's the securities? All those monetary instruments, which is all the different paperwork you got. Applications, notes, credits, bonds, all of this shit. You get a piece of paper, you write a number on it, and you sign it, and it's as good as however much that's a promissory note, or a order to pay, or a security minimally. Minimally, it's a security. It's showing value. As piece of paper is endorsed. It's a bearer security. It's real life. It's that system. It's that simple. We're living in a world where you don't have to till, you don't have to mine, you don't have to do none of that for wealth, because this is a world of infinite wealth, like according to the laws that's in every country. And that's why my mind is like at the point where it's just like, but every country, y'all, has these amazing laws, bro, about money, man. And it's like in every country, I don't know every country because I ain't went to every country. And I'd say we need to search for the countries that allow people to use these laws for their benefit. That's just what we're talking about. We need to find which country respects the value of people's monetary instruments, man. That actually may be the campaign. That might be the campaign. That's the campaign. We got to find one country that has enough natural resources and international commerce operating, and they money good in enough places that we can do business with, A, and or B. See, the B is the A, and the B is do for self. Yet that is a real concept. And who is the do for selfers? Basically, this is how I can put it. If right now you can't take a piece of paper and write, I promise to pay $1 million to, and write your bank name, I promise to pay $1 million to, and your bank name, say bank of whatever bank you got. I don't want to put no banks on blast. But if you can't write, I promise to pay $1 million in that local currency, whatever country that is, in that currency, to whatever bank you got in that country. If you can't take that piece of paper, walk to the bank, give it to them, and say, here, I'd like you to take that and deposit it into your central securities depository, which your system is connected to. You can do the research and say, okay, if this bank is in this country, Google the central security depository that's in that country. Bow. Because what I'm here to tell you is that the law says this is legal. Every country. And they may convince people that it's not this simple, but it is this simple. It's as simple as, if you can't take that piece of paper, I promise to pay $1 million to your bank name and take it to your bank and give it to them and say, hey, I want, this is it's on delivery, right? Boom, upon delivery, as we read, upon delivery, value has been exchanged, title of that has been exchanged. Therefore, that's a monetary instrument, and hey, it's a deposit. Basic accounting says I'm due the value that I just gave them. Okay, basic accounting, and that's what financial systems are. That's why it's important to understand these things, overstand them in everything, understand, understand, do something about it is the key. Do something about it in a way where it could be done. But that piece of paper, go to the central, hey, bank, I'd like you to take this and go and exchange it at your Central Securities Depository. You know they're going to be able to give you your credit. So I need you to go and extend me my credit right now. Pronto. Pronto. Break it down. Go ahead and book entry only format, basically is the term. Take this hard form security as a deposit, this promissory note, private promissory note. I'm going to privately place it to you. Okay, it's exempt from registration in every country. Private place promissory notes, when you're delivering it to a high net worth individual, accredited investor, a financial institution that's registered and has a license with the fucking central bank and the central monetary authority of that country. You don't have to even fucking issue no registration of this security with the Security Exchange Commission in any country, y'all, that I've found yet. But if you can't take that paper to that bank and they can't just take that and go ahead and deposit it, then there's only two situations that you're facing. You're a slave, or they're treating you like a slave. That's it. You're a slave, or they're treating you like a slave. Now you got infinite situations you can do here, because you got, okay, we can sue their asses if they didn't accept my deposit. But this is a financial infrastructure, market infrastructure's information. You can just read something like this to get an overstanding of the financial monetary institution links. You got different links. The links connect. Man, this shit is got too much knowledge. The links connect one system with another system. That's how you get, a SWIFT system to communicate to an ACH system. From one country's bank system communicate to another bank system is a link. If you have a financial institution and you want to have your bookkeeping information, which is all what money is, digital money is just bookkeeping, is digital bookkeeping information. They try to make this shit so complex. That's the fucking problem. And they got people not even seeing, when you get the solution, you can't even tell it's the solution because a lot of people are not engaged with it. Therefore, that solution doesn't have a lot of momentum, but it needs momentum. And the solutions that have a lot of traction right now, they're not the sustainable solutions for your kids, unless you can take that promissory note, boom, 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 and say, hey, bank, go ahead and do what you got to do with that and hook me up with a deposit of equal amount into the account that I have with you. Because literally that's how the shit should go, or the blessing should go. That's literally legal in every country. It's legal in every country. So if it's legal in every country, yet they got all these policies and principles and procedures and statutory rules and regulations that basically the way the companies work, the statutory rules and regulations, the documents the companies give you ain't the same as what the laws say. The law has principles. Like the law may say a promissory note has to have these elements, these 5 or 10 elements. As long as it got those 5 or 10 elements, it's a promissory note. But you go to the company or bank or financial institution, they may say, I don't know what to do with that. We don't deal with this. You're going to have to go over here. What the fuck? According to the law that you even supposed to be held accountable to upon delivery, man, that's a fucking payment. So what, we got to sue your motherfucking, why we got to go so hard? We got to sue you, or we have to
find an organization that's going to deal with us efficiently, or B, we got to run through your hoops so much, right? In an organized way, right? Find the good lawyers and doctors, whoever the fuck you need, X amount of fees, and play your game, get your fucking licenses just to be able to enjoy the benefits of law. It's hard out here when you know some shit. They make it a little hard for when you know some shit. But it don't have to be, because I guess the more people, and I know that the more people who know this and are willing to do it with their systems, because if people say, hey, let's just roll with our own system, hey, we got all the answers to solution right now. We got the money, we got the systems, we got the promissory notes, we got everything. We got the banking institutions, we got the accounting systems. We don't even have to fucking keep scratching our heads about how we're going to do this. We got to say, okay, we're going to accept the responsibility that we're utilizing our system. We're going to have the courage to just like only accept the blessings that come with our efficiency of using our own system. Now that's deep. And that you're only going to be able to have a system if you can do that. Say, okay, we have a system. We're going to accept the rewards of the system. And then you still got these other systems out here. And yeah, you might need to play those games right to get some resources for your systems. But when you start doing all of that, man, it's like you dilute your energy and you're really not 100% with your system. But you know, what is the system? You got to understand these types of principles for financial market infrastructures, right? And we're getting into these principles. We talked about a lot of these principles, you know, links, efficiency and effectiveness, communication procedures and standards. There's different communication procedures and standards and different messaging standards, like ISO 20022. That's a messaging standard. As you can see, this messaging standard is separate from SWIFT, but SWIFT uses it. A lot of cryptocurrency companies are currently utilizing ISO 20022. Essentially, it's just the standard that they choose to utilize. But you know, standards are different than laws. The law states one thing, that hey, any promissory note that has this is real. Any promissory note that has this is real. But then they create these standards because they got their systems. They got their own systems. SWIFT system, NACHA system, and all these systems. And now we're going to talk about BRICS, because BRICS is the new system on the block, but it's really not new. And when you look at it, you're going to see some interesting stuff. Yet, the people can have their own system, like all the unbankable people, all the unbanked people, all the people that's not happy with their banking systems. Now, this is key. This is a serious thing, man. It's like they all don't need to come together. You don't need everybody together to do what you got to do. You just need enough people that have, like for instance, I might have access to this service. Somebody got access to a certain service. Different people right now can pull off different services. Cool. If you look at a list of all the services you need and all the products you need to run a nation or a tribe or a community, see, this is the responsibility you got to accept. We're talking about family trust and banking institutions to protect your assets and to provide finances. That money sign, don't get confused. There's no brand attached to that money sign. There's no, it doesn't have to be, and I don't want to say names because then it's like it creates battle, but the battle's already on. It's been a battle for years. I'm born into this battle. We want to act like it's not a battle, and that's why people, it's like not winning. What the fuck? But okay, say it's not a battle. At the end of the day, if you're brainwashed and you perceive that you can only utilize these certain payment instruments, then your commerce, your system, your life, and your happiness is going to be dependent upon that one or that two types of money that you could get. And trust me, that one or that two types of money, not just you, but you're only going for that one or two types because the people around is only going for that one or two types. Now, if you got a whole world of ignorance, even with your wisdom, even if you come with 75 monetary instruments that's each worth $1 million, $1 billion, $7 billion, $6 billion, 250 million, you could have a fucking trillion real actual dollars in value, monetary work for monetary instruments. And you could even say, hey, people, I mean, hey, let's start exchanging these. We can exchange these. They're good as gold. We can account for these even in our local jurisdictions. We're exchanging them privately. You can still do taxes and talk about them. Like, you don't have to run from the government when you do business like this. But what will happen is the people who accept these monetary instruments, the people who respect your financial infrastructure, right? If you set up a financial infrastructure and you understand financial market infrastructures efficiently, the people who understand that, people who respect that, start to exchange their products, their services with you. You just have to be willing and wise enough and have enough people with enough courage and enough audacity to be in it for the long run and to curate enough people who provide these products and services, who have the access to the raw materials. You know, some people got raw materials, some people got services, some people got products, but you got the whole list of what you need for this community to exist. And if you recruit these people, you say, okay, you got a mining field of gold, okay, or you got, you know, tractors that you sell, or you got cars that you sell, you got a farm with fruits and vegetables, or you got farm with herbs, you got services for graphics, you got music, you got equipment, you got all these people, you know, one person at a time, one group at a time. How the fuck shit has to happen, you know, like, and you say, okay, each one of y'all, this is the game. Everybody around this table, we're gonna accept each other's monetary instruments. It's all legal according to every state and every country we're in right now. We're going to do private acceptance. We're going to accept each other's promissory notes, each other's bills of exchange, each other's negotiable instruments. And we're all going to put up our products and services that we individually do as something that is capable to be accessed with these monetary instruments. So that when you give somebody your car, or you selling a car and you let them buy the car with these monetary instruments, you know, you can take those monetary instruments and you could exchange them for the stuff you want that's in this system. And even if you connect it to other systems, like you got lines of credits in these other countries, it's all good. Yet here, we're going to accept your value. We're going to respect your value. I'm here to tell you that that's legal. That's lawful. It's not even like breaking those systems down, because if you're in America, or if you're in USA, or if you're in Britain, or if you're in Brazil, or if you're in Yugoslavia, or you're in China, you're in Jamaica, you're anywhere, and you're dealing with these private promissory notes, private bills of exchange, and you're doing it in accordance with international law, these laws, you'll still be able to account for these and fill taxes out and not have to go against the grain. You don't have to go against the grain when you're using law. Yet the situation is we need communities. We need communities. It's the best way to put it. We need communities of people that respect our value. That's it. If not, then we're all slaves or treated like slaves in these systems. Or some of us just at the top of the systems, like, or the systems respecting our value, which is great, right? And you can see, like, in most of all these systems, you can look at their stock exchange, see who's the list of stock exchanges, who's the list of security agencies, the list of central security depositories, the list of exchanges, the list of registered financial institutions. All of those lists they're all in the systems. They're in the system. So it's not like we can't get in the system. It's not like getting in the system is a bad thing. All of these options are okay. Yet for extreme long term, you gotta know what the system is, man. You gotta know what the system is, so you know when you're doing something lawful, and so you can develop the energy and the power and the audacity to fully go through with a lot of these concepts, and to start to respect the idea of a community and see, like, without a community, okay, how you gonna eat? How you gonna go get some food? What you just out there? You by yourself? You're gonna go out there and hunt, grow all your food by yourself individually, and you're gonna feed yourself, how are you gonna get to the land? You're gonna buy from somebody, or you need people to buy from somebody. Or if you're not gonna buy, you're just gonna go claim it without any documents that you got to tell somebody. Basically, communities need it in every way, shape, or form of life. Yeah, when we start to build communities we got to identify what's the minimal amount of people that we need. It's probably like, I would say about 40 to 50 families, I would say, is needed for a self-sustainable nation or tribe. I would say, like, if each family was focused on one product or service, if each family, like, no matter how they got access to their products and services, right? Some people would naturally have their service capabilities. Some people have to get lines of credits or, utilize their local monetary system or whatever they do to have the products on hand that they need. But once you identify the group of products and services that you need for a society, and then you have those groups of people accept your monetary instrument, you got a community, man. Y'all will prosper. Y'all will prosper to the point where the external world will start to accept your monetary value. Because that's what happens with cryptocurrency and every other type of money. That if you say you want it right now, there was a point when only a few people used it. There was a point at some point when not a lot of people used it. And the people who did use it, they had to believe in it. They had to believe in their dollars, their money. Yeah. If you, like I say, if you can't write, I promise to pay $1 million to your bank and give it to your bank ain't your bank. Your bank is treating you like a slave. They're not letting you even utilize their laws. That's a monetary instrument. Knowledge is a big part of the solution, because I can say I've had the solution, and a lot of people have the solution for a long time. Yet even if I give you a $100 million promissory note or bill of exchange or letter of credit, which a lot of people have a lot of things, and you have it right in your hands, and all the laws that we're going over show that it's a monetary instrument, it's value. To enforce that or to use that, it's literally because of what I'm talking about here. It's because having the knowledge and having the wisdom is part of it, but then either like we're saying, having the enforcement capacity. Like, you got to use the system as is to develop the resources out of that system so that you can enforce your rights for them to respect the fact that you're utilizing the law system, the lawful system. So you got to use the system like that, and or get people that's actually willing to understand and understand the entirety of this financial family trust operations and banking institutions, and say, hey, we're gonna really run our family trust. We ain't gonna be fucking dependent. We ain't finna be going out this bitch. And look, we're not even taking the easy route, bro, because the easy route gonna have us depending on some other fucking body system. And then you're gonna realize the easy route was not easy either. And for a lot of spiritual reasons, I'm realizing, man, when you use something to build something, if you're not using the source, if the source of your value is not a piece of which you wish to bring into the world, then you're not developing a self-sustainable system. So what's that mean? That means that we, or you, if you're serious about your family trust and your family tribe and your family's life in a self-sustainable capacity to operate in and of themselves, then it's only from the value of your family or the value that you have, the value that you create, that your solutions can come from. The value that the people who are agreeing to respect your family's trust, your family's monetary instruments, got to be the only people you really give a fuck about. And like for real, this is a different ball game. It's a different, it gets to being, if you're not willing to accept that, then I'm here. I don't want to tell you what you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. Call yourself smart, whatever you want to call yourself. If you don't want to accept the responsibility for your monetary instruments to be respected, your lawful monetary instruments of your family trust and your family, and then you're saying, hey, well, hey, my monetary instruments, my family's monetary instruments ain't good as gold because they, because either A, you haven't accepted the responsibility to learn that and enforce it, and to gain the knowledge or be around the right people or get the right people together and say, hey, y'all, we got to master this. We're going to do this. We got to do this. This is what it is. This is how the systems work. This is the systems of the world. You feel me? These are the systems of the world, these information systems, these financial systems. And we have an opportunity to develop our systems too. Our systems could work in accordance with these systems. We don't have to run away from all these other systems. You feel me? We can actually develop the type of systems that could also be incorporated with these other systems. If you don't accept their responsibilities, then you're literally a slave or getting treated like a slave. That's all I got to say. And once you have your system, if they don't let you, if you understand the laws that these other systems have for interoperability, meaning for your book, your accounting books, to be able to be integrated with their accounting books, so information you have could be exchanged with them and vice versa, they're not respecting your value. They're not respecting your system. If they say, hey, I'm not going to accept your monetary instruments and your transfers. Well, first off, that's breaking some law. That's fucking, I don't know if the law says that they have to accept your shit. Well, within systems, they're saying that they have to, but when they don't, what happens? It's called war, y'all. That's why BRICS is setting up. And if you look, like that's why this shit is happening, right? So what is BRICS? Okay, right now, you can look over here and they got the BRICS Russia shit because that's where their next meetings, which is finna come up soon here. I believe this is now. Today's the first date, bro. Oh, that's in October. I'm like, what? 2 more months. Wow, bro. This time is flying, man. But yeah, in 2 more months, they got the Russian Federation is the Russian Federation, by the way, is the head of BRICS as far as presidential, y'all. Right? So the president of the Russian Federation, Putin, in connection with the beginning of Russia's chairmanship of BRICS. So Russia now has the chair. They're at the chair position of BRICS. We're going to go some more knowledge to see BRICS. They have a new development bank. They're a development bank or development agency to make sure that these monetary instruments could be exchanged for investments in these certain cities and countries. That's what this is about. That's what the whole shit is about. That's the same game you're trying to fight. That's the same game, whether you know it or not. That's the whole point. Whether you fucking know it or not, it's about liquidity and settlement and being able to get your fucking financial instruments and monetary instruments respected. That's what insurance is. That's what banking is. That's what fucking paying bills is. That's what buying a house is. That's what all this shit is, man. But anyway, BRICS, you got Russia's the chairman of the BRICS, right? On January 1st, Russia took over the baton as presidency of BRICS, in association which, according to 15 BRICS summit approved in August last year, now includes 10 states. Well, it's 10 states now, but I don't know. The news is like 20, 30, 40, 50 states applying for this. I perceive it's way more than than 10. I think they just let in the media get information like on a slow rollout, man. I feel like they just doing a slow rollout of facts because the way this shit looking is BRICS is the new SWIFT, bro. Like, what do you mean? Like, most of these, you got the Naira increase in value on the dollar. You got a lot of shit happening, man, that's just evidence as to, bro, we got to get our own financial systems, which we do have. It used to be we got to do this. We have our own systems. And I'm not the only person. Some people got different systems, set up. I don't know. But we have to be able to get our own value respected. And this is what these people are doing. This is what BRICS is, a group of fucking people, a group of countries that came together and said, hey, the SWIFT system, they trying to not respect our value. They not respecting our value the way that we see fit. They're using financial systems for political reasons, right? And that's what the people are facing in all the fucking countries dang near of the world, man. Again, if you can't take your promissory note to your bank and say, hey, go ahead, deposit that and hit me with that deposit slip, like right now, then you're a slave or being treated like a slave, even though you're not a slave. It's all I'm saying legally and lawfully is the fucking truth. If you don't believe it, then either you okay with being a slave, you don't want to accept the major responsibility, which a lot of slave shit ain't even bad. There's a lot of slaves that's got millions of dollars, bro. What are you talking about? A lot of slaves way more comfortable than niggas like me that's out here trying to develop systems for themselves and they others to be self-sustainable. Like, for real. That's the fact, Jack. I'm not saying slavery isn't a good goal for a lot of people. Honestly, if it wasn't a good goal, a lot of people wouldn't be slaves so freely and so willingly. If you take those words wrong, then you just take them wrong. I'm not talking about people who are unwillingly slaves. I'm talking about people who have not established sovereignty, because you got sovereignty or slave. That's just it. Sovereign or slave, period. And slave is just when some things or anything, or if anything that you do has to go through a regulatory body which you do not have influence of, call it what you want. Call it whatever the fuck you want. I call it fucking slavery. All right. So we're talking about. So this isn't going to give extreme information on BRICS, but what we can say is Russia is the president of BRICS right now. Let's get into some shit. New Development Bank. So New Development Bank is formally referred to as BRICS Development Bank. It's really a multilateral development bank established by the BRICS states. So there's BRICS states. BRICS states came together. What's BRICS states? BRICS is an intergovernmental organization. Look at the words, y'all. This shit's gonna get over. This is examples of what you gotta do. This is all I'm trying to tell you. Your family's gonna have to set up intergovernmental organizations. That's what Love Nation is. It's an intergovernmental organization. But hey, go be a part of whichever one the fuck you want to. I don't even really care, because if there's competition and the shit's working, it's a good thing, because whoever is allowing our monetary instruments to flow and they got juice, good for them. It's great. Let's roll with this shit, right? I pray it could be us, but it doesn't have to be. Whoever is going to allow our value and respect our value, this is just an example. Like BRICS, an example. This is an example of an intergovernmental organization, a group of governments. Governments, bro, you can have governments for every company has a government. Every company has a government. Not just country, every company, every household. You got a government. There's something that governs you. Govern means to govern, to make the decisions. So there's organizations, there's groups of people in companies that make decisions. They're governments. There's groups of people in tribes that make decisions. There's tribal governments. You got company governance. You understand what I'm saying? You can have some companies that got the rights of nations. You can have some companies that may even have better rights than nations, depending upon the goal of the society. So there's many ways to go about this. Yet, intergovernmental organization comprised of initially of Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, United Arab Emirates, and they got a lot more. They keep talking about 20 more countries has joined BRICS. 20 more countries is applying for BRICS. 30 countries applying for BRICS. Why? Why? Because they're attempting to create a financial structure that is not political in nature, that doesn't stop your money from flowing or your monetary instruments from being cleared and settled. How about that as a description? They want your monetary instruments to be able to get cleared and settled so that the value from those monetary instruments can start to trickle down into the development of their communities. Simply a group of people that's utilizing international law for the benefit of themselves and their people that they love. People that they do business with. They setting relationships up with different countries that say, hey, I respect your value, you respect my value, we respect each other's value. Boom. We're going to be respecting each other's value around here. Yeah, we're respecting each other's value. Our monetary instruments can be exchanged. And it's an international organization that's making sure that they happen. They got their international organization right. And they also have their banking arm, which is a development bank. This is where they issue these currencies from. This is where they issue their investment dollars from. This is where they issue their promissory notes. This is where they issue their securities, their bonds. Literally, you can Google them and find their securities, their bonds that they issue for each country. And literally, we can get into that. Like, it is not nothing like that to hide. And this is not just you could do it, we could do it. Your family trust, my family trust, our family's trust. If we understand what the fuck the real game is, we could be exchanging each other's money with each other, establishing our international banks, intergovernmental organizations, respecting our values. That's something to take with all the other third-party organizations who don't give a fuck about us. Let me get a better score. Let me get in a better situation where you can accept my money. Why don't we just say, fuck it? Fuck them. Our shit real. Let's exchange it with us. Let's accept the responsibility of recruiting other people who got products and services that we need, and to develop each other's businesses enough with our investments, with our monies, and respect each other's monies enough and develop productivity, because the productivity that we have, we can sell externally for foreign currencies, for dollars and rupees and Brazil dollars or reals or whatever other fucking currencies of the world. We can take the high productivity. That's what your currency is for, productivity. So you can have productivity within your community. And if you ain't part of community, I guess this doesn't matter to you. It ain't gonna work. Everything I'm talking about doesn't even matter, bro. Literally. None of this shit matters. None of this matters too much for you if you're not going to develop a community. I mean, it does, because you can still take all this knowledge and like organize and operate at a very high level in these other systems, because you'll know what these systems, how they really operate, and you'll be able to use the lawyers better. You'll be able to use your knowledge better and start your private entities in those agencies, because you can start your own financial institutions in these countries. And if you can take these laws and then say, hey, if all this is true, okay, now it's about playing the game. Can I get into these other organizations, get them to respect me? If that's your route, I mean, because I've been going both routes, because shit, you got to do what you got to do. So I'm going routes to, hey, get this banking systems of the world to respect our value. And I mean, self-sustainable value route. Whoo, you have to have people that accept your value, man. They accept your currency, your money, man. These motherfuckers out here, boy. I ain't putting them down. I'm with them, man, because really we are only hope, bro. We are only hope, my nigga, because if we're not, it's like, okay, we're going to see. We're going to see if we can get some of these lawyers to do right. You feel me? Or some of these other agencies to respect our value, bro. Like, but look what they doing. They invest in a sustainable future for themselves and the people that they love, bro. That's all I'm trying to say. They use their money. They use their paperwork, right? Who they are, what they do. You can work with them, right? You got credit ratings. This is our outstanding issuances, because this is all about issuing. This is all about promissory notes, exchange, and bonds, y'all. This whole shit, everything is about the same shit everywhere. And remember I said BRICS. They're issuing different bonds. You see each bonds they're issuing for countries. You see ZAR, I believe that's South Africa. Renminbi, You got US dollar green bonds. Even though United States is not part of BRICS, they got a USD green bond, y'all. Look at this. The New Development Bank successfully priced a 1.2 billion 3-year green bond. So it matures in 3 years, 1.2 billion under the bank's. Oh, it has a $50 billion euro medium term note program. How could it be a euro USD? Maybe this is a euro note. Oh, it is a euro note. So a euro dollar. So a euro dollar is any dollar issued by a country in a currency that's not its currency. So if you're from the United States and you issue a note, but you make it a euros promissory note, so like you say, it's worth €1 million or €1 billion. It's just paperwork, literally, y'all. But if you do that, it's called a euro bond, you know. So they're doing these. They're even issuing money based on the United States dollars value as euro bonds. But let's see where they're trying to invest this money at. Look, it say the net proceeds from the issue of the bond will be allocated to finance and or refinance eligible green projects as defined in the NDBs, in the New Development Bank's Sustainable Finance Policy Framework, and it will be used exclusively in Brazil, India, China, and South Africa. So even though it's a US dollar green bond, man, y'all gonna learn something about money, y'all. And I could say a lot of truths and it'll sound crazy. Like I said with the money, you can write, I promise to pay $1 million to your bank, and if they don't take you, you're a slave or getting treated like a slave. I meant that. I could also say, hey, you see this country, these countries, it's got 5 countries. They're issuing a note. There was more than 5 countries in the New Development Bank, but you got all these countries. They're coming together to issue a United States note. And they ain't even United States. I'm here to tell you that value is based on valuation, that you could issue. I could say, for instance, this pen. I could say this pen is like foreign exchange is literally, it's all accounting again. This is one pen, that's the asset. It's worth, say, $1 US. It's worth $1. And then if I was to translate that value in every other currency, it's also worth that. So like $1 may be 5 reals, 5 Brazil reals. It may be, I don't know, 0.75 or 0.8 euros, 80 cents, whatnot. Nevertheless, I can write on a piece of paper any of those things. I don't have to be the United States treasurer to write, this is worth $1 on a piece of paper. You understand? And if I write it's worth $1 on the paper, that's a certificate. That's a certificate of title. It's worth money, y'all. But my point is, you can see evidence here that countries that's not United States is issuing bonds that's in the United States. But you can read all of these bonds they issue. You got 3 pages of bonds issued by the New Development Bank, which is the bank of BRICS. This is basically the reason for the union is so that they can drive finances here. And what are they utilizing? They're utilizing bonds. They're utilizing their promissory notes. Okay? You got renminbi. I'm seeing renminbi, ZAR, and US dollar bonds. Okay? Regardless of the fact that you got Russia, China, all these countries coming in, when they issue their bonds, they issuing them like this, and it's for a reason. I wonder who they're clearing their money through, y'all. I'm not going to try to get too deep, but I might have to because, I mean, shit, bro. Like, the game is right in front of our face and it's being played right in front of our faces. Like, if you see the game and you see it for what it is, and you still choose the path of the pussy, that's the best way I can put it. The path of the pussy. If you still choose the path of the pussy, which might get you more rewards in the short term, actually, I get it. It might not, though, too. Whatever, man. You got to do this for your family trust. You got to do this for your banking institutions. We see they issuing bonds, issuing promissory notes. You may think this is deep, but any man, woman, and child can organize themselves to be capable of doing such a thing. It's a grand feat because they have representation of a lot of people. They represent a lot of people. We're talking about some of the greatest economic jurisdictions in the world. But what their system consists of? It consists of these notes, right? It consists of these bonds. You can see who's managing them. You got Bank of China, Barclays, Goldman Sachs, International, Standard Chartered Bank, Citibank, same banks all over the world getting money. Euronext, Dublin. Why is we talking about this and family trust? Because your family, your trust can either invest into these types of things, your trust can issue these types of things. You can issue your tribe, create tribes where, okay, you're part of an intergovernmental organization that has a bank development goals. You feel me? You got to see how the world works when it comes to this money. And if you want to see any of the notes, let's see if we got any example of the notes here. This is an investor presentation, right? Where, because they're about raising money. So if you got and you raise money, what? How does somebody pay you? They pay you with what? Monetary instruments, y'all. All it is exchanging paperwork. If they don't respect your paperwork, tell me what you're gonna do. What I'm doing is what I'm doing. What I'm doing is consistently developing a self-sustainable system and increasing its capacity to deliver for itself and its loved ones. See what I'm saying? Consistently increasing its capacity. At the same time, increasing my capacity to be able to get my value respected in these international systems as well, because they all have systems and rules and regulations for how you can get your value respected in their systems as well. So this is them going ahead and letting you know, man, they here to raise some money. This is their management team. Speaking about their credit strength, their assets and liabilities, like when they speak of BRICS, is it good to understand what is this? This is something that you could do as an international intergovernmental organization, right? So you can have an intergovernmental organization. You got to have a government, maybe a government or your family tribe. Link up with that family tribe. Now you got intergovernmental organization. You got these three tribes operating as an intergovernmental organization. If those tribes have a government, if you have a government for your family, right? Boom, y'all got an intergovernmental organization. Then maybe y'all create y'all promissory notes, y'all bonds, y'all plans for how y'all gonna raise money. Well, what type of funds y'all need? Fuck raising money. That's a strange way of putting it. But what funds that y'all must monetize and liquidate for what purposes? So say there's things you wish to do, and then the money becomes a reason you want to add up. This is how you go in a community. You go with the vision first. You evaluate how much the vision costs, how much people have to get paid for those visions. That's what the money's for. Then that's what your bond, that's how much your bond has to be. That's how much your note has to be. You think about all things. You say, okay, if you have to see the vision. You have to see the vision for your family, the vision for yourself. If you're selfish, what's your vision? What's your cars, clothes, houses, how you moving, how much land, what type of employees you need on deck, what type of accountants and lawyers and all of this. And you have the value for how much that is. And then that's the value that you must have. How much value do you need to expenditures that year, the next year? Is governmental accounting. Governmental accounting has to come into play for your family if you're thinking like that. You see? But once you understand those numbers and you see what the value of those numbers are, then you can have your plan for your bond, for your issuance, for your indenture, your trust indenture, for your promissory, your bill of exchange, whatever you wish to issue, right? And you can issue your promissory notes, right? And as long as those promissory notes are exchangeable with your community is respecting your value. That's why community dollars came, so that the community could be productive. or you might come up with some family dollars so your family can be productive. But it's all about productivity. You get the level of productivity happening, and now you can experience that lifestyle that you wish a little more. And I'm not going to go through all of this, but this was just to let you see what's going on in the financial paradigm. What are these financial paradigms? And then you have the Bank for International Settlements, which is literally one of the head honchos, if not the head honcho, in making sure that monetary instruments are cleared internationally. You know, it'll be interesting. As homework, I ain't gonna go there with y'all right now, but as homework, if anybody want to go, or for your own research, maybe I don't bring some things. I'm just not gonna bring to the public. You gotta do some research yourself. It's just for information purposes. I say do some research and find out who's the clearing. Who does the new development bank use for clearing and settlement? For clearing and settlement of their bonds and their notes and stuff, you know? Yet the Bank of International Settlements, you know, if you go to about them, this is an organization where they set rules and regulations on international settlement. They're based in Switzerland. A lot of organizations and countries work in accordance with them. They promote global monetary and financial stability throughout international cooperation. So here goes a PDF, goes over, you know, a little bit and or a lot of it of what the Bank of International Settlement does. So it's promoting global monetary and financial stability through international cooperation. It serves central banks. So a lot of central banks utilize it for the clearing and settlement on the international level, and other financial authorities across the globe to support their pursuit of monetary and financial stability through international cooperation. Because the degree of your cooperation, the degree in which you could internationally cooperate, the degree to which other institutions, other agencies accept your payment instruments, your monetary instruments, is the degree to which you can experience the freedoms to which you wish. Basically, they accept your paperwork, good. They don't, bad. They don't accept your paperwork, your monetary instruments, and they're lawful and legal, then maybe you need to form your own governmental institutions for your tribe and your family so that y'all can start to respect each other's paperwork and the paperwork of other people like y'all. And the more y'all do that, then y'all could develop something. And that's what even convinces and encourages international communities to begin to accept your payment instruments. It's the same strategy for cryptocurrency. You have to get a certain amount of circulation operating, a certain amount of people exchanging that for products and services before it can be accepted on a grand market, on a global scale. You feel me? And this is something that has to be comprehended, because a lot of people, they just want the effect, and that's problematic because you got everything you need. A lot of people have everything they need, and they know enough people. But if you just connected with just the people you know, and they connected with the people they know, and they connected with the people they know who literally needs. If you don't need more money, no more access to money, then this ain't for you. Okay, this conversation don't matter to you. It shouldn't matter. It's not for you. If you do not need any more access to monetary instruments that actually clear and settle, if you don't need no more access to money, then this ain't your issue. This ain't even a problem for you. But if you actually do need more clearing and settlements for the monetary instruments that you have, or if you would like to have the ability to have your own monetary instruments and draft them and for them to be used for payments, like you create your paperwork, promissory notes, bills of exchange, according to law, and you could go transfer them and get some money for them. If you want that capability and you don't have it, then you like, if you didn't even know it was possible, this may be for you for sure. I mean, unless you don't even want a better lifestyle. Say you don't want a better lifestyle. You got enough monetary instruments for yourself and your loved ones. Y'all don't need no more. Boom. This ain't even for you. Yet if you're in a situation where you could utilize and you could use more monetary instruments and more monetary substance that's actually transferable and liquid that people accepting, then these conversations are for you, because you might not be as bad off as you think. The solutions are really simple, yet they become extremely complex when we rely on third-party systems. That's what I'm trying to say. And even with relying on third-party systems, we can still do that, yet it's going to take more of a community, because you have to come with more force. Like, it's like 7 people all trying to develop their own lives better versus 7 people developing one thing. That one thing got the power of 7 people, but each person only got the power of themselves. So when you take those 7 people and you magnify it to thousands and millions of people, and now you got people who live in communities that's dissected and divided so much, whereas their own household aren't operating commerce together. How could their value be exchanged anywhere? How could your value get exchanged anywhere? The people you even with every day, around and waking up with, y'all don't accept each other's value, monetary instruments. How can you convince somebody else to accept your monetary instrument? How, Sway? How, Sway? How are you gonna be able to accept your monetary instruments if you and your people that you with every day, y'all ain't even fucking accepting each other's monetary instruments? Because if you was accepting each other's monetary instruments, you wouldn't owe the people that you owe. You know them and they cool with you. Y'all wouldn't owe each other. Y'all, hey, you owe my monetary instruments. How much was that? 100,000 I owe you? Promise to pay you 100,000. Bow, bow, bow. Or I order to pay you 100,000. There you go. Bow. All right, bet, bro. Boom. Now they can take it to the people they know. Okay, I got this 100,000 here. You see the 100,000 check? Boom. I'm going to break you off. Here go. I owe you what? $50. I promise to pay you 50. Bow. All right, bet, bro. Good looking. Boom. Now they can take their 50 to soon. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Them apples, how much? $7. All right, bet. Promise to pay you 7. There you go. Bow. They take it 7. Okay, bet. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, let me get some squares over there if they smoke squares. Or let me get a gram or 2 grams or whatever. Boom. $7. Bow. Promise to pay you. See, that's you. That's commerce. You fathom? Can you fathom having your own money? Because that's what promissory notes and bills of exchanges are. The money. And they're your own money. They're the money of the issuer. Whoever the issuer is. The issuer is the debtor. The recipient is the creditor. Why? Because the person receiving is getting a credit. When you gave it, that's a debt. That's a debtor. You deducted value from your account. Your account is literally, can be wrote on a piece of paper. It can be called the account, Mike and Jane account, the Airplug account, the Walmart account. You can call it the Walmart account, literally. Or whatever account, to whatever company you're spending the money for, you're negotiating the instruments with. This shit is really not rocket science at all. But the concept of community, like a productive community, financial communities. You see, like, you know, a community that ensures certain things are occurring. You know, you got different groups for certain reasons. You might got the group of people you kick it with most of the times. You're probably kicking it because you like the character trait, or it make me feel good when I'm around them, or, you know, some shit like that. But, you know, what about the people, hey, I'm with them and they're making sure my financial system is good for myself and my next generation and the next generation after that and the next generation after that. You need another, just to spice up your relationship. Have some more types, because we need to have the types of relationships. Oh yeah, this person in this group, and they get their family together as best as they can. However I can help them get their family together, I'm down. However they can help me get my family together, we down. We identifying what product or service the family's gonna focus on, or, you know, so that we can provide our product or service to the group of families. We've identified all the groups of products and services we really need as a community to be self-sustainable. We've identified how much money needs to flow for us to be able to provide all these products and services to each other. And then we've identified our method, what we're going to do to keep the exchange here. And then we've identified what we're going to do, you know, because of the productivity we're going to have, how we're going to start to tap into foreign exchange markets so we can have other foreign currencies from the productivity that we have due to exchanging our own currency, or from being able to get our own monetary systems respected out in this motherfucker. Now, that's some good relationship. That's the type of relationships we're talking about in this motherfucker. The knowledge is here. The tools are here. The resources here. The systems are actually here. So I pray that you got some knowledge here that could help you, your family, trust, realize that y'all actually banking institutions. You can start your own banking institution, start your own family institutions. You see what I'm saying? Your own different agencies. That's actually a capability for you. It's actually a capability. If you want to start them, I could assist. The more the merrier, because we need more individuals, more families together, more tribes together, forming their own intergovernmental organizations, forming their own central banks. I'm just here to say it, forming their central banks, forming their own organizations, linking up like Brinks Truck with other tribes that has their international, that has their monetary systems tight. We must communicate to each other. We're accepting and exchanging each other's monetary instruments with each other. It's not illegal, it's lawful. The greatest of institutions and organizations that we're dealing with have done it, and we can still deal with them. If you like dealing with them, you probably deal with them in a much better way because we'd be more organized. You could do it on your own. Independence does not mean you still don't have interdependence to some degree. So yeah, man, we didn't even go over BIS, but we're introducing, you know, the Bank of International Settlements, you know, New Development Bank, which is BRICS. You feel me? Why they here? To get the money flow for investments through their countries and for their exchange of value to be respected amongst each other. So they have this, you can see their international organization, and you also can see that they have their offerings, right? Like if you wanted to see one of these, let's say New Development Bank. I don't know if they're going to show, but they should. I've seen them before. So here goes the offering memorandum. Yes, they got them out. So here goes the actual offering memorandum, right? Where they're raising 50 billion here, but for what and for whom? So this is paperwork. Again, y'all gonna notice everything is paperwork. So this is a paperwork. This is a promissory note, bill of exchange type of paperwork, and it's really worth the value that you see written here. It's worth 50 billion because this is how it is. It's, even though it's valued in US dollars, as we all saw, none of these countries are United States of America. So this is what you'll call a euro note. It's a euro dollar. It's a dollar that's issued in the value of a country that's foreign, a foreign currency than the issuers or the issuer. And they're talking about the London Stock Exchange. Well, I don't want to like it because these prospectuses get deep, you know. Permanent global notes. So they got temporary global notes, permanent global note certificates that could be issued with each series. They got offerment. This is an offer memorandum, of course. They got something about HSBC up in here. Arranger and dealer. So the arranger and the dealer of this note is the HSBC. You know, I've looked at so many of these and actually duplicated and customized, which is not unlawful to duplicate by reading. Utilize as a template, customize, totally customize to ensure that you're utilizing those laws efficiently for your unique benefit, for your unique purpose. But you'll see the game is okay now that they got $106 page paperwork. It's like, how do they clear and settle this? You know, where is their depository institution? What do they deposit this with? Okay, and they exchange with different countries in exchange for different currencies. You can exchange interest in this for different currencies. That's what foreign exchange is, deeper than just the foreign exchange market that you see in the public. You know, foreign exchange is also when you have notes and bonds that's issued from different systems. Like they're speaking of the euro system here. You feel me? It says note that this does not necessarily mean that this note will then be recognized as eligible collateral for euro system monetary policy. So see, I mean, because once you know the game, you know the game. You know, all of these countries have collateral systems, right? Like every central bank and securities systems in different banking and financial systems have acceptable forms of collateral that they'll receive in exchange for the currency that they issue. So, you know, different countries like the United States or whatever. So say they issue United States notes, but let's just say the Federal Reserve issues Federal Reserve notes. And for them to issue that note, they'll need some type of collateral. So they'll have acceptable forms of collateral. We went over when we were speaking initially about banking institutions or financial institutions or family trusts in the previous. But they'll have their own system, you know, for what collateral they accept in exchange for their currency. And the game is getting them the collateral that's acceptable for their form of currency, so you can use their currency to do business with people that accept their currency, right? In their jurisdiction, or some other vendors may just be prone to accepting a certain currency. You feel me? For whatever reason. And to get that currency, you got to give them certain collateral. And you'll start to see a lot of the collateral is stuff that we talked about earlier, like these different promissory notes, different negotiable instruments. It's commercial paper. It's acceptable forms of collateral. When you look in these systems, you have a few codes I'm going to give y'all that would be great to learn. You got the Global Foreign Exchange Committee. They have a FX Global Code. FX Global Code is the standards for foreign exchange entities and foreign exchange infrastructures and foreign exchange systems that's developed. They say, okay, if you're utilizing these policies and procedures, in the Foreign X Global Code is an 82-page set of global principles for good practice in the foreign exchange market. You're following these principles. You're operating the standards. Remember, there's standards and laws. So the laws are different than the standards. The standards are there for people to operate in unison with each other. And a lot of these agencies, as what we're seeing and what you can see is, it's like if you're not operating in accordance with their rules and regulations in their system as well, then it may be more difficult for you to do business with them. Yet, internationally speaking, as long as your system is a lawful system, there should be a way to connect your data with their data sets so that you could get value transferred on behalf of yourself or on behalf of others that's utilizing your system to transfer value. So in this global FX code, they get into it. You know, they say that the FX code is a group of principles, right, for foreign exchange market, and it's been developed to provide a common set of guidelines to promote the integrity and effective functioning of the wholesale foreign exchange market, right? It is intended to promote a robust, fair, liquid, open, and appropriately transparent market in which a diverse set of market participants, supported by resilient infrastructure, are able to confidently and effectively transact at competitive prices that reflect available market information and in a manner that conforms to acceptable standards of behavior. So they're here to help their members trade money amongst each other. All right, that's what they're talking about. They're here to make sure that the paperwork that their members have can be traded amongst their members, and their members just so happen to be countries. All right, and it's a standard that you could adopt, right? You could adopt a standard, right? A lot of countries have already adopted the standards. A lot of Bank of International Settlement members are rocking with the standard. And again, ISO 20022. I showed y'all those two things because at the end of the day, knowing those two standards, you could develop pretty much damn near, you could develop a lot of systems. Let's just put it like that. You could develop a lot of financial systems understanding the keys to these things and how to utilize these knowledge, these laws, and incorporate them into processes that you utilize for your benefit and for the benefit of people that you love as well. You feel me? So we got off to a rocky start. We spent 20, 30 minutes twinkling with technicalities. Yeah, for the most part, I feel okay. I feel like this is some good information. I even just feel, but I know that this information is going to help somebody. You know, it's going to help some people even understand and understand why they should be establishing their own trust and or tribe and operating with this level of efficiency, you incorporating these systems so that they could operate self-sustainable, or why they may want to just work with those of us like Love Nation who are developing these systems already and have systems, you know, and we ready to go ahead and bring some more bodies and people and beings to engaging with the systems, because that's when systems start to actually be perceived for the value that they truly are, you know. So getting more people to engage who see a need to be self-sustainable with the finances, who see a need to operate and develop their own systems, who see that they are the solution that they're looking for. That's what we're on right now. All right. That is exactly the type of people that we rock with. Now, that has been pretty thorough. I don't know how long this has been, but it's been a pretty thorough interaction. And I let this thing, all the trials and tribulations show and everything. I let the trials and tribulations show too. Feel me? All right, y'all. I rocks with y'all. You know, ain't no telling what moment in the world you see this at. Ain't no telling what status I'm on at this point. Where status we at. Yeah, I just like to say I rocks with y'all. Go ahead and make an email down to get your own tribe or trust set up. If you need some evidence that it has occurred for others, I'll let you know, show you some evidence that we got family tribes established out here. You know, we got family fiduciary trusts set up. so stuff can occur. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Y'all enjoy yourselves. Rock out. Get your trust set up whenever you can. Get your tribe set up by yourself. You can see that you can utilize the assistance. The next step in the high level operations is when we begin to link up like Brink's truck under the guise in the actual fulfillment of our tribes, our family trusts, to maximize the value of these laws and of our realizations that our people are having and that we're having as well. It's really what time it is. So peace and prosperity to everybody. Out of here.
Are you tired of being subjected to rules and regulations that do not serve you or your family? Are you willing to go against the grain in the name of wisdom, freedom, family, honor, and trust? We provide simple solutions to complex problems. Take control of your own affairs in life. Tribe Up with Tribes and Trusts TV.
On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with.
Are you tired of being subjected to rules and regulations that do not serve you or your family? Are you willing to go against the grain in the name of wisdom, freedom, family, honor, and trust? We provide simple solutions to complex problems. Take control of your own affairs in life. Tribe Up with Tribes and Trusts TV.
On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with all these tribes and trusts. I'm overseas with these tribes and trusts. Don't need no other keys but these tribes and trusts. Frequency, sovereignty with these tribes and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribes and trusts. Overstepping your boundaries, I balance you. I'm bona fide, fuck a challenger. Sent the revocation certified, fuck a manager. In control of my soul, fuck a handler. All these assets that's held for the tribes and trusts. Prophecies get fulfilled with the tribes and trusts. Heard they get out of jail with the tribe and trust. Fuck around, get you nailed for the tribe and trust. On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with all these tribes and trusts. I'm overseas with these tribes and trusts. Don't need no other keys but these tribes and trusts. Frequency, sovereignty with these tribes and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribes and trusts. Tribing up, we 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 tribing up with these tribes and trusts. We tribing up, 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 we tribing up with these tribes and trusts. We tribing up, put the tribe in the trust, manifesting this work with the tribe and trust. Resurrecting myself with these tribes and trusts. Ancestors left us these tribes and trusts. The people is rising up, yeah. Free all the guys from cuffs. Tribes and trusts, rising up with tribes and trusts.
You heard the Mansa. Tribe up and take care of your own affairs in life. Your life depends on it. Your future depends on it. Your family depends on it. Establish your family tribes and trusts with Kyle Mansa, founder of Love Nation American Indians. If you need advanced or rush services, schedule a consultation.